Good afternoon, folks. Snapzilla Gorilla, aka The Definition, hitting y'all off with another video. Now, as you know, the World Health Organization has declared a national not even national, a worldwide pandemic of the coronavirus, okay? Over 114 countries with infected folk. Very interesting. I'm going to play a little bit of what the doctors from the World Health Organization are saying about this real quick. So just bear with me through this video. If I feel the need to, I'll jump in with my commentary, but I'm going to give you all the information straight from the horse's mouth, and we'll go from there, all right? And then I'll tie in some of my thoughts about it after the video, okay? All right, hold on.
Thank you, Tariq. Good afternoon, everybody. In the past 2 weeks, the number of cases of COVID-19 outside China has increased 13-fold. And the number of affected...
13-fold in the last 2 weeks. That's a hellified brush fire right there, Pippin. Hellified. Like, 13-fold in 2 weeks? Scary. All right.
Has tripled. There are now more than 118,000 cases in 114 countries, and 4,291 people have lost their lives. Thousands more are fighting for their lives in hospitals. In the days and weeks ahead, we expect to see the number of cases, the number of deaths, and the number of affected countries climb even higher. WHO has been assessing this outbreak around the clock, and we're deeply concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity and by the alarming levels of inaction. We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic. Pandemic is not a word to use lightly or carelessly.
No, it's not.
It's a word that, if misused, can cause unreasonable fear or unjustified acceptance that the fight is over, leading to unnecessary suffering and death. Describing the situation as a pandemic does not change WHO's assessment of the threat posed by the virus. It doesn't change what WHO is doing, and it doesn't change what countries should do.
What is WHO doing? I'm going to have to look further into that.
Before seeing a pandemic sparked by a coronavirus, this is the first pandemic caused by a coronavirus. And we have never before seen a pandemic that can be controlled at the same time. WHO has been in full response mode since we were notified of the first cases. And we have called every day for countries to take urgent and aggressive action.
My question is, what did this come in the form of? And do the people know what actions the World Health Organizations want the country governments, the governments in these countries to take? What type of steps are we supposed to take to prevent the spread of this coronavirus?
Rang the alarm bell loud and clear. As I said on Monday, just looking at the number of cases and the number of countries affected does not tell the full story. Of the 118 cases reported globally in 114 countries, more than 90% of cases are in just 4 countries. And 2 of those, China and the Republic of Korea, have significantly declining epidemics.
Now, he just said that 90% of the cases are in 4 countries, and that South Korea and China have dramatically reduced epidemic numbers. Okay, he's saying that whatever China and South Korea is doing, they have significantly decreased the numbers of infected people. Okay, that's very important to understand. That's very important to understand as we move forward through this.
Have not reported any cases, and 57 countries have reported 10 cases or less. We cannot say this loudly enough, or clearly enough, or often enough. All countries can still change the course of this pandemic. If countries detect, test, treat, isolate, trace, and mobilize their people in the response, those with a handful of cases can prevent those cases becoming clusters, and those clusters becoming community transmission.
Cities and counties. According to the World Health Organization, we are now in a global pandemic, and one of the most important things we can do, according to the World Health Association, is to speak in one voice as one government. That's one reason we thought it was so important today for us to join here. As we move forward, it will be increasingly...
Speak in one voice as one government. What does that sound like to y'all? Is she talking about all the governments involved with this coronavirus outbreak? Or is she talking about all the governments in this country? Because that's very interesting. What does that sound like when she says one voice as one government?
And important that we are unified in our efforts across cities, across counties, and state government if we want to slow the spread of COVID-19, help the most vulnerable and at-risk individuals, and work together to protect our small businesses and our workers displaced by this event. I truly believe that this outbreak may be one of the most transformative and consequential events that we've had in this region and in this country.
Most consequential events. Are we looking at never let a good tragedy go to waste here? Is this one of those instances?
I also believe and know we will get through it. It will be hard. One thing that gives me great comfort is the leadership that I have seen at every level of government, starting with our governor. He has been a tremendous partner and leader with all of this in this room and across our region as we've been responding to this public health emergency.
Washington State.
I will now give you Governor Jay Inslee. Thank you very much.
All right. Now, a couple of points I wanted to hit on. This doctor with the World Health Organization was talking about how China and South Korea has greatly reduced the numbers of infected people. And we have to understand what China has been doing to the people, the type of authoritarian behavior they have been conveying in regards to this coronavirus outbreak response, okay? They have been forcibly isolating people. They have been forcibly keeping people locked up within their homes. They have welded shut doors. They have snatched people up who they suspect might have the virus. They have kept people in internment camps. And God knows what they're doing to some of these people. God knows what they're doing to them. Are they incinerating some of these people? Who knows what they're doing? We're talking about China here, okay? Now, South Korea has done some similar stuff. South Korea is not as authoritarian as China, but South Korea is an ally to the United States. I've been to Korea. I lived in Korea for a year. And listen, man, if the World Health Organization wants all these countries to follow the example of China, then there could be a lot of trouble coming forward. Okay, there could be a lot of problems. Now, this is why it's very important that we hold on to our rights. Okay, I don't care what kind of outbreak, pandemic, epidemic, poopidemic. I don't give a hot shit what type of threat we're facing. I don't care about it. Okay, it will never trump our freedoms. It will never be correct or right to take people's freedoms away to stop the spread of a disease. You know what it would take to stop the spread of a disease? Giving people the correct information, giving people the boost they need, giving the people the truth, being honest, stop lying to the people, okay? Telling people, oh, there's no way to stop this, there's no cure, there's no vaccine, blah, 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 right? Well, they tell you there's no cure, there's no vaccine because they themselves want a cure, want to come up with a cure to administer to you, or a vaccine to administer to you. Okay? They want to create it. They want you to take said vaccine. They want to force the vaccine onto you. That's why they want to enact the state model Health Emergencies Powers Act. They enact that. They can forcibly inject you with a vaccine or forcibly inject you with some type of treatment, whatever the case may be. That's what they want. Okay? They don't want to tell you the truth, right? They don't want to tell you the truth. They don't want to tell you that you have to boost your immune system. If you boost your immune system, you can fight almost any disease, right? And how do you do that? You take vitamin C, you take vitamin D. All right? You get the zinc up in you. You go out, you get some sunlight. Walk around outside in the grass at the park barefoot. Get grounded. Clear the toxins from your body by fasting. I fast. Now I'm up to a 24-hour fast a day. 20 hour, not 24 hour. A 20-hour fast each day. And I don't get hungry. Okay? You know, I don't get hungry. I fast. And what this does is, I keep talking about autophagy, man. Autophagy is very important. When you go through autophagy, your body is clearing toxins from your body. It's repairing damaged cells that can be repaired and getting rid of damaged cells that are taking up space and energy in your body. Okay? It boosts your mitochondria. So your mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cells. All right? That's the power plant of your cells. You don't get energy in your cells. Your cells can't get energy without mitochondria, without healthy mitochondria. So if you don't have healthy mitochondria, you are going to get sick. Your cells are going to break down. You're going to be more susceptible to cancers, viruses, so-called viruses, bacteria, whatever it is. Okay? So you want to make sure that you're doing everything possible to boost your immune system. And while you're fasting, you can take in vitamin C. You take in vitamin C, you take in your minerals, you take in your magnesium, your potassium, your sodium. You get all those things. You take that while you're fasting. It's not going to break your fast. You can drink your coffee. You can drink your coffee with the fat to keep your energy level up. Okay? You can drink your tea without sweetener. Don't sweeten it. Don't put sugar in it. Don't put honey in it. Just take the tea straight up. You know what I mean? You can put some coconut oil in your tea. Coconut oil goes good with tea. Get the right teas. Put some elderberries in it. These are things that you can do to boost your immune system. And while you're fasting, your body will take in the vitamin C to help boost the immune system, to help with those repairs, to help get rid of those foreign bodies that shouldn't be there. to help break down the mucus in your body. Okay? So you just want to be careful. You don't, and I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, don't take my word for it. I'm telling you what works for me. You know? And I'm just telling you what works for me. If I feel a little cough coming on, I up my vitamin C intake, and it stamps it down. You know what I mean? It stops it. But I take it consistently. I'm always throughout the day taking in my vitamin C because I ain't playing around with this. You feel me? You know, people tell you use hand sanitizer and all that other stuff. Yeah, you can do that. That's fine. They say Lysol kills the coronavirus. Spray your surfaces down with Lysol. Things like that. Take matters into your own hand. But one thing you do not want to do is stay cooped up in your house when you're sick. All right, they want you to stay cooped up in the house. They don't want you to get no sun. Skin cancer from the sun. No, you know what's giving you skin cancer from the sun? The chemicals you spread on your skin. These chemicals that you put on your skin, these nanoparticles that are activated by sunlight to cause issues with your skin. Okay? You don't need all that. You don't need all that fancified sunblock and all that. You know, there are plenty of natural sunblocks. Well, not even sunblocks, but things that will help prevent you from getting sunburn and all that stuff. Mango butter, shea butter, things like that. Just pure natural mango butter, shea butter. You put that on, and it enhances the vitamin D intake. But when you start putting chemicals on your skin, and you know, you get the sunblock, and you see all these chemicals, and you're slathering on your skin, and it's just not good. You're preventing the vitamin D process. You're stopping that process from happening. You're stopping it. You're not allowing the vitamin D from the sun. You're not allowing those chain reactions to go off. Those enzymic processes that they call vitamin D that are doing so many good things for your body, particularly with your bones. Okay, it helps with your bone marrow to produce white blood cells that are very important for your immune system. Make sure you have a good gut balance. Make sure you have good balance in your gut. Make sure you have a good balance of, you want more good bacteria than bad bacteria. And if you know you have a lot of bad bacteria in your gut if you crave sugar all the time. If you're constantly craving sugar, that means that the bad bacteria has outgrown or overgrown the good bacteria, and they live off of sugar. So what you can do is you can starve them of the sugar. Okay? Starve them of the sugar. And your good bacteria can help with your immune system. This is also a good, crucial part of your immune system is your gut. But they're not going to tell you that. They're going to tell you, oh, if you get a cough, stay in the house. Oh, if you sneeze, stay in the house. Oh, if you sweat, stay in the house. Oh, if you have a little fever, stay in the house. You know what? You know, a fever is not a disease. The fever is not a disease. It's just a reaction. It's your body fighting whatever's going on. Your kids can teeth and get a fever for that. Your kids can get a fever from teething. So anyway, listen, man. They're not going to tell you that. They want you to stay cooped up in the house. They want you to recirculate all that bad shit that you're breathing out. They want you to suck it back into your body to keep you sick longer. No, go outside. Go outside and get some sun. Sunlight is the greatest sanitizer. It's the best sanitizer in the world. You can't beat it. Okay? Sunlight is the best sanitizer. And if you live in an area, like I said, Washington State, where most of the deaths at first, where most of the deaths occurred in the United States, they hardly get any sunlight up there. So they should be taking in vitamin D from foods. The northern hemisphere, the people in the northern hemisphere don't get nearly enough vitamin D because they're not eating the foods that can give them the vitamin D in place of the sun. Y'all. So I keep talking about the same shit because, you know, they keep bombarding us with misinformation about how to stay healthy and how not to get sick and what you should do when you get sick. They keep telling you bullshit. Anyway. So one thing I wanted to talk about also is the exponential growth of this outbreak. Okay? The exponential growth of this outbreak. And I'm going to discuss the book I wrote. Okay? I wrote a book. I completed it back in 2015. Okay? And you know, this is before I even got on YouTube. It's called The Seeds of Dark Matter Disease. It's the first book of many that I'm going to write. I'm right now almost complete with the second book. Well, actually, not really. I'm only halfway through. The second book is going to be twice as long as the first one. Okay, because there's so much story, so much development that I have to do with the characters. But anyway, so much world building. There's so much world building. Anyway, this book, for those of you who are interested in knowing what it's about a pandemic. Okay? It's about a pandemic that occurs due to a viral outbreak. Okay? It's a viral outbreak. And like I said, it's a virus, or so it's thought to be. They don't really know what it is, supposedly. So anyway, what's going on is it's occurring all around the world. Okay, this pandemic is worldwide, which is why it's called a pandemic. And the thing about this disease in this book is how it pops up, how the numbers of infected grow exponentially with very little explanation. This is like, it makes very little sense. How is this popping up in these different areas? Why is it one day there's 20 infected, and then 3 days later there's 300 infected, just popping up all over the place out of nowhere? You know, they talked about how this one person in Northern California became infected with the coronavirus, but to her knowledge, she hadn't come into contact with anyone who had the disease, or who had even been to China, or whatever the case may be. But how do you really know that? If the incubation period is 21 days, 24 days, there's so many people you could have come into contact with during that time period that could have given you this so-called virus. But anyway, now what this disease does in the book is it infects the person, and the incubation period is only a few hours. Okay, it's only a few hours, and it turns the host into a mindless, cannibalistic animal creature. Okay, and what it does at the same time, it starts to eat away at the individual, at the host, from the inside out. Okay, over time. Okay, and the less food it intakes, the faster it devours the host. So what this encourages the host of the disease to eat human flesh, or eat live flesh, any live flesh, humans, animals, whatever, eat live flesh of living beings, so that the disease can devour the food, or devour the flesh that the host is eating, which slows down the decaying process of the host. Now the host knows this on a fundamental level, but it's just hungry. It's always hungry. So what happens is when your body starts to eat, is getting eaten from the inside out, you start to get hungry and hungry. So you then become the vector of the disease, and you go out and actively try to infect others. And that's how the disease spreads itself, because it makes you hungry, makes you want to eat human flesh. And while you're doing that, it'll hop into another person, creating another host. But if there's no food or water around, so it needs to drink water. Okay, these creatures need to drink water. Okay, you know, I try to stay grounded in reality. You know, you got these zombies and these other stories that are like they can live for 13 hours, and not 13 hours. They can live for a whole year without drinking water and without their muscles seizing up. Listen, the host and the infected in my book are not zombies. Okay, they go through a state of comatosis before they turn. So at the last leg of the incubation period of the disease, the host goes into a comatose state. And this is when the disease takes over the brain and the host wakes up with a new mind state. It wants to devour and eat. It doesn't matter what they do, devour or eat. Anyway, so yes, it's fundamentally different than the coronavirus, because the coronavirus is not making people want to eat other people. It doesn't do that, right? We know that. But what is important, what is important is how, okay, what is important, I don't want to spoil too much, but what is important is how is the exponential growth of the outbreak in both my fictional disease and the coronavirus. How it inexplicably pops up in just random places, okay? With very little explanation on how it got there, or who passed what, or who patient zero is, okay? So, in my book, what is understood by a certain character is that the disease was already inside of the hosts, okay? Of a great number of hosts, a great number of people who end up being infected, you know, where, like I said, just crops or clusters of infected people just pop up out of nowhere. It's because the disease was already within these hosts. They just didn't know it. So I guess you could say that they had the disease had a very long incubation period, but the difference is it wasn't really an incubation period. The disease existed within these people. Okay. The disease existed within these people, and they performed a completely different task than what ended up happening in the end when they started infecting people. Okay. So it's basically a Trojan horse disease. It's a Trojan horse thing. So the disease ended up in these people because they were essentially injected with the disease that was supposed to perform a certain function. All right. But then the function changed at a certain point. And so it appeared like, oh, these people got the disease out of nowhere. How did this happen? No, they didn't get it out of nowhere. They already had it. It's just the function of the thing that's in them that's now infecting them in a negative way had changed. The function changed. And how it knew to change was the frequency it received from a certain transmitter. Okay? So let's say you have a town, right? There's one town in particular that it goes into a little detail. So let's say you have a town of, let's say, 500, 600 people, okay? And these people had this thing inside them that would eventually change function, right? The function of it would change. Well, you would need something to activate that change, something that would spark the change in the catalyst of the function change, right? So let's say you had a plant in that town that was there for seemingly one purpose, But the actual purpose was to spark the secondary, or actually the primary function of this disease, of this disease that once had the job of doing something else. All right, the job you thought it was there to do was just a cover. So when the plant activated them, the function changed and they started to infect people in a negative way. Well, the plant had to send off a frequency, a certain frequency, to activate the true function of these disease particles. Okay, these particles that end up infecting the host start turning them into mindless people who want to eat people. Okay, so I thought that's pretty interesting. I don't know why. I think about that when I think about the coronavirus and how it keeps popping up in different areas. Okay, now I'm not saying all this that I'm saying to you right now is just something that's in my head. It's not something that I have proof of. It's not something that I have any documentation on. No one has come to me. I don't know. This is just something that I was thinking about while I was writing this book. I was thinking about how could you realistically infect the most people at once to begin your depopulation agenda, to initiate your depopulation agenda. What would be the best way to get that cracking? How can you infect the most people at once? Well, you would have to create a Trojan horse disease. This is one way I would think you would have to do it. If I were a diabolical villain, I would say, you know what? Let's create a vaccine, for instance. Let's create a vaccine, a miracle vaccine that could cure you, or not cure you, that's not what they're for, that could prevent every disease known to man that there's already a vaccine for, okay? And possibly even diseases that we would encounter that we wouldn't know if we'd be able to cure it. Like new diseases, like the coronavirus. The novel coronavirus is brand new, it's newly introduced to human beings, it's never been there before. What if you created one vaccine that could basically prevent any disease from taking over your body? The ultimate immune booster, right? A super vaccine that could prevent any disease from occurring. Okay? What if you could have that? That way, you get one injection, maybe one injection, just one vaccine, once every 2 years or so, until you reach a certain age, until your immune system is freaking so well augmented that nothing could stop it, right? Because that's what vaccines are for. Vaccines contain adjuvants that attract your immune system to the disease to fight it. And okay, I've never seen this before, but the adjuvant is telling me as a white blood cell that, oh, this is bad, let me go attack that, and then let me write it in my code. Okay, this is a bad thing that we need to attack. Okay, well, this vaccine, this super vaccine, would just essentially write the best code that your immune system could ever copy or ever be given. You know what I mean? And so even like the common cold, the flu, all these things could be eradicated by the use of this super vaccine. Like your immune system can fight anything. You know what I mean? And not only that, but now they have helpers. With this vaccine, you have been given little nano machines that help your immune system, that essentially become a part of your immune system. And that's how it's like an AI. It's an artificial intelligence. You know, if you know anything about artificial intelligence adapts, it changes, it learns. Okay, that's the thing about artificial intelligence. It can be unpredictable. It's like, and that's why AI is so dangerous, right? Because it can take on a mind of its own because it's learning so much. It doesn't have to have everything done for it. It doesn't have to be updated. It doesn't have to be reset. It updates itself. It learns from the things that are happening to it, and it learns quickly. It adapts quickly, and it takes care of any problem. So that's what these new nano machines inside your body that become essentially a part of your immune system. They are little tiny machines, right? Biological machines that become a part of your immune system that are artificially intelligent, and they're much more intelligent than your white blood cells. So, you know, basically, your white blood cells don't really have to do anything because these little nano machines are doing the work. They're doing most of the work, right? They'll get to the infected area much quicker than your white blood cells or any other cell that's part of your immune system. It'll eradicate the problem. You know what I mean? And then that's basically what it is. So eventually, these nano machines become jealous. Okay, they be not jealous, territorial. They don't want your blood. They don't want your white blood cells involved. They don't want any natural part or endemic part of your body, part of your immune system. They don't want that involved in any day-to-day function of taking care of your body. So they're performing all the tasks of every part of your immune system. You know what I mean? Even your lymphatic system, like rebuilding scar tissue and reducing soreness. It's doing all that. So then that's what's in you. And you're like, oh shit, wonderful. I feel so good. I have so much energy. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm 21 years old again. I'm 58, 60 years old. I feel like I'm 21 again. You know what I mean? My arthritis is gone. My inflammation is gone. I can eat whatever I want. Let's say that something like that is introduced into society. Who wouldn't want that, right? Who wouldn't want it? And it's proven. It's a proven treatment. It's a proven vaccine. Okay? It's a proven form of medicine. No side effects, okay, that you know of. No side effects. Has been tested. It's been blind tested. It's been randomized. There's been randomized tests to prevent any type of confirmation bias or anything like that. You have that inside you. You see these people being tested. Let's say your grandmother becomes part of the trial. She gets this shit injected into her, and she can outrun you on the track all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Because her energy level is up. Her skin starts to look better. Like her wrinkles starts to reduce. Her joints are not swollen anymore. This, that, and the third. And you're like, man, that shit is hot. You know? And it's not going to reverse the aging to the point where, like, oh yeah, you can live another 100 years, but you know, you can feel good until you die. Whatever, you can do whatever you want. Like, you don't have to be in a wheelchair. You don't have to have somebody wiping your ass. You would be like, man, and this has been going on. She's had this for like 3 or 4 years, and you're like, man, she's been on this shit for 3 years. No side effects. I don't have to wipe her ass. She can walk with me on the track. We can exercise together. You know what I mean? She's sprite. You know, her cognitive functions are on 10. And then when they finally introduce it to the public for anybody to take, and it only costs about $10 per injection, you know, because the cost is way down, because it's very efficient, and they found a way to replicate it without using too many resources. Okay, boom. I want that too. You've seen 3 years of study. You see 3 years of your grandmother using this shit, and man, she's on point. So then you're like, okay, I'll take it. And then that's what happens to a vast majority of the population. They decide that let's get this cracking, and they think they've found the fountain of youth. Okay, they thought they found the youth, and then all of a sudden, okay, a shady group, they say, oh, okay, I feel like there's enough people who have taken this treatment or this vaccine now we can initiate the true function of these nanomachines, of this vaccine. Okay, boom. So they send out the frequency. The important part of this is the frequency. Okay, I know this is drawn out a little bit, but stay with me a little bit. Is the frequency sparks the true function of the particles from this vaccine, and they start to turn against your body. And that would explain how so many cases of infected people could spring up. That could explain how 13 times how the disease can spread 13 times in 2 weeks. Like the 13 times the amount of people are infected within 2 weeks. Now, like I said, man, this is just me and my writer's mind just spitballing. This is how my mind works. Okay. This is how my mind works as a writer, man. And so, I mean, we got, 5G? Sending out frequencies? Yeah. I mean, hey, I did a presentation on the correlation of the rollout of 5G in Wuhan, Hubei, China, and the outbreak beginning in Wuhan, Hubei, China. I outlined the correlation, and I emphasized there was no causation that we know of. I'm just saying that correlation is very interesting, and I'm not drawing any conclusions. I'm just telling you how my mind works. Okay, I'm going off into this. This is how I process. This is how my mind processes shit as a writer, as someone who's always thinking about all the angles, all the different things that can occur, all the different explanations, all the nuance. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. There's a lot of frequencies going on in the world now. Like, you got 4G frequencies and 5G frequencies. The spectrum of frequencies have grown exponentially. Like, hey man, we've been injecting our children and ourselves with vaccines for decades, man. Decades. And who's to say how some of these vaccines, especially with these adjuvants, these metallic adjuvants like aluminum and all this other shit, who knows how this shit interacts with these microwave frequencies? Okay? Yes, they say that the millimeter wave frequencies of the 5G can't penetrate past the skin. But, I mean, that's what they say, man. That's what they say. But what they do is, at 60 gigahertz, they change the properties of oxygen molecules at its absorption frequency. So the absorption frequency of oxygen molecules are 60 gigahertz. Why are we putting out 60 gigahertz in a millimeter wave spectrum when oxygen is absorbable at the same frequency? The absorption frequency of oxygen stays at 60 gigahertz. Just like, why are they putting out a frequency in your house via Wi-Fi Why is there a 2.5 gigahertz frequency coming out of your Wi-Fi router, your wireless router, when that's the frequency at which dielectric loss of water begins? And you know what also uses 2.5 gigahertz? Your microwave. Your microwave operates at 2.5 gigahertz. And how the microwave works, how it heats up your shit so quickly, is that it interacts with the water inside the food that's in the microwave and heats it up. It changes it. It distorts it distorts the valence rings and all that shit of the water, and so it's affecting the dielectric loss of water. It's heating up your food. That's how that works. I'm just saying, man. Why would they push out 2.5 gigahertz microwave frequency when it manipulates the water in your body and prevents your receptors from your insulin receptor, or not the receptors from taking in sugar molecules, which then become stored as fat in your body and make you fat? I mean, I'm just saying. Why would they use that frequency? Don't take my word for it. I've done a presentation. I've showed receipts on this type of shit. Just go look it up. I want y'all to look up, or you know what? I'm gonna put a link in the description of the properties of the dielectric loss of water. Okay, the dielectric loss of water begins at 2.4 gigahertz. My bad. I'm gonna put links in the description for y'all, man, just so y'all have an understanding of what I'm talking about. Why are they pushing out these frequencies? Why would they do that? Why would they put anything out there that can cause you harm? Like, why would the government, the FCC, and all these other people allow you to be hit with these frequencies? Allow your food to be filled with the crap? Allow the spraying in the sky that's bringing down aluminum and barium and nanoplastics and polymers? Why would they allow that? Is it because they don't give a shit about you? I would venture to guess that's it. Anyway, this was a long-winded video. You know, listen, man, I know there's a certain ways that you can grow your channel and, you know, and keep your videos short. You know, I'll do some short videos, but you know, when I have thoughts on something, you know, I like to put it out. And you know, I know most people are probably not going to watch the entire video. That's okay. That's okay. I will begin to start doing shorter videos. I just don't have. I'm not in the mindset to kind of like, oh, what's the best way to grow my channel? Oh, I need to do this. I need to conform. There's a certain way you have to do shit. I'm not there yet. I'm getting there. And we'll see what's happening. We'll see what happens. Anyway, much love to y'all. Oh, so I have a email address for you guys. If you guys want to hit me up, it's snapzillagorilla@gmail.com. Okay, snapzillagorilla@gmail.com. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, I do have a book for sale. I'll put the link in the description. It's my book is called The Seeds of Dark Matter Disease. It's on Amazon. You guys can pick that up if you want to support the channel. I do want to grow the channel, but you know, I can't ask for donations. I want to be able to give you something in return for supporting me. Okay, so if you want to support the channel, you can buy a book. You know, you can buy a book for yourself. You can buy a book for your friend, whatever. You know, so yeah, I'll put the link in the description of my book and my email and the properties, these frequencies they putting out. I'll put the information on that in the link too, so that you guys can go check it out. 60 gigahertz, very important frequency. 2.4 gigahertz, very important frequency, and they're going to use them to push them out to you guys. So anyway, much love to you guys. snapzillagorilla@gmail.com. If you guys want to hit me up about anything, it is what it is, whatever. Hit me up there. Go buy a book. And yeah, check out the links. All right, much love to you guys. Peace.